ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਹਿਲ ਤੇ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਨੇਤਾ ਜਗਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਅਤੇ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਐਮਪੀ ਟੇਲਰ ਬੈਜਰਾਜ 16 ਅਤੇ 17 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਆਗਿਆ ਦੇਣ ਲਈ VOTING ਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਬਦਲਣ ਦੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਸਤਾਵ ਤੇ ਚਰਚਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। VOTING ਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਘਟਾ ਕੇ 16 ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਬੈਕਵਰਡਜ਼ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਵੇਟ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਬਿੱਲ ਤੇ ਹਾਊਸ ਆਫ ਕਾਮਨਸ 'ਚ ਬਹਿਸ ਹੋਵੇਗੀ। ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਨੇਤਾ ਨੇ US ਸੁਪਰੀਮ ਕੋਰਟ ਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਡਰਾਫਟ ਫੈਸਲੇ ਦੀ ਲੀਕ ਹੋਣ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਚਰਚਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ।
What we're here to announce today, or what we're here to support, is our Member of Parliament, Taylor Bachrach, put forward a private member's bill on lowering the voting age, something we think is fundamentally important, and we believe it'll be a step to strengthen democracy, to encourage more participation, and we've seen great evidence that that's what happens. Young people, 16, at the age of 16, participate in society, they work, they pay their taxes, they are able to drive, they're able to get married, and they should be able to vote. And one of the strongest arguments for why we believe that this is so important is that young people are more than ever going to be impacted disproportionately by the decisions we make today. And some of those decisions include, of course, the climate crisis, which will most directly impact young people. And so they should have a say in what happens. Secondly, the housing crisis, which is one of the biggest crises that as a society we're up against, that is also going to disproportionately impact young people. So those two really crucial questions, young people should have a say in how that is dealt with, how those questions are responded to. So we strongly support this bill. I want to thank Taylor Bachrach for bringing this forward. And of course, it'll have our full support. We want to encourage all members of parliament to support. It's not a political issue in the sense it's not a partisan issue. It's a political issue in the sense it's one to strengthen our democracy. And we think it's so important to have the support. In that, on that question, we have a special guest, Dr. Jan Ishon, who has specialized or has researched the impact of a younger, lower voting age on democratic participation, and has some strong evidence to support why this will impact not just young people's participation, but their participation moving forward as well. So a really strong in Canada, and overall Canadians are by far in the majority are in support of it. And so the law is very stable. We've seen, as much as we've criticized conservative governments for many other things, favoring the ultra-rich and giving tax credits away to rich companies and then letting them leave with the jobs and the factories to other countries. Harper, for example, being in power, that was not a law that was reversed when a conservative was in power and prime minister. Of course, with other governments, it's not been a question at all. So in that sense, the trend in Canada is the law is supported and strong, but really it is a question of access. And I just want to highlight how the access really undermines the fact that the right is there. If you live in a community where there is no abortion services, no clinic you can go to, hospitals that don't provide that service, or limited access to hospitals, it means for women that they've got to go very far distances to get that service. And that lack of access really undermines the right being there. So I think what we really need to focus on in Canada is doubling down on making sure everyone has access, meaningful access, where they don't have to drive hundreds of kilometers to go to a hospital or a clinic. That's where we should be putting our efforts. The law is very strong in Canada. The right is protected. And if we believe in democracy, there's threats to democracy around the world. If we want to strengthen our democratic system, this is a question of how do we get more people to participate now and in the future. The evidence is very overwhelming. The Scottish example, but also, as was pointed out in Germany, Latin America, and other countries, that lowering the voting age just increases participation. And to do that is something I think everyone who